Ah, one more for the game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to December, or as I'm going to call it, Deckcember. And in honor of Deckcember, we're going to be playing Hand of Fate this month. I'm going to be doing my best to try, if the game is allowant of this, and if my schedule is allowant of this. I'm not even sure if allowance a word, but if it is, and if it, the meaning of it that I'm asserting onto it can be taken. We're going to be playing this for the duration of the month because it's a really fun game. I picked it up, actually, I've lost track of time now. I want to say like 2 or 3 days ago, and just had to keep playing it. It was absolutely fantastic. I was really pleased with this game. And so now I decided to, let's just do a series of it. So, kind of stating where we're at then, what I have done is I have gone in and deleted all of the save data that I had. So we're basically starting fresh from the top of the game. It'll send us through the kind of the tutorial levels, which are pretty easy, but it gives you a feel for the game, especially if any of you viewers have not actually seen or heard of or touched this game in any way. I'm at a loss as to what to recommend, because on the one hand, I'd really like for you to come along and join us on this adventure and whatnot, but I honestly feel that I just beat it today, like literally, like, I don't know, half hour ago or something, and the end fight, I will just say, this isn't spoilery, I don't think. The end fight is just absolutely fantastic. I was like, my hands were shaking for like a good 10 minutes after. And just the heart go, everything. Oh, it was great. It was one of the greatest feelings that I've gotten from a video game in a long time. Just the right amount of intensity and hopelessness, and yeah, great, absolutely great. So I'm kind of at a weird point for a recommendation here at the start, simply because I feel like one of the game's strongest features is the novelty of revealing itself as you play it. So, with that in mind, I invite you to come along with us on this journey, but that being said, my personal take is that the game is a lot more fun to play yourself than to watch someone else do, which might be counterintuitive for the purposes of a YouTube channel, but I just wanted to put that out there in case anyone's looking at it. I think it was like $8 or $9 on the Steam sale this Thanksgiving, and doubtless it will go up again at Christmas. So if you want to pick this up, go for it. It's absolutely worth the money. But let's get into it. Let's start.
Ah, one more for the game. Come, sit. You have passed the 13 gates, and you come to my table to play the game of life and death. Your stake is wagered. I refuse none who come here, yet I say, turn back.
Okay, so a couple other disclaimers here before we get started. One, I'm going to try to allow the immersiveness of the game to do its business as much as possible, simply because I think the game does a really good job of it. Second of all, settings-wise, I am running on like minimum graphical settings, just because in some of the bigger fights, it gets a little chuggy just with my rig. It's getting old. Desky is getting old and sad, so I do have it on lower level graphics. It is absolutely gorgeous at the higher levels, but it's just not feasible once the fights start to get big. on this, so just a heads up if you think it looks kind of crappy. This is the bare minimum of what it looks like. It is absolutely a gorgeous game. Lastly, I have the sound and the volume for the various, you know, sound effects and music and everything set at just above their minimums, and this is as quiet as I can make the game without just turning it off entirely, which I obviously don't want to do. So, bearing that in mind, I apologize if the sound and other, you know, volumes are super loud. This is the absolute lowest I can get it. So there you are. Anywho, let's start. Let's play Hand of Fate.
The game begins. One lives and one dies. Let us see what you are made of.
Okay.
Here is the first member of my court, the Jack of Dust. 12 in all must fall before you may challenge me.
So, this is the Jack of Dust, as he has just said. Each of the... There's basically a face card of 4 different suits. You're playing against like a deck of cards. It's great. So the Jack of Dust is kind of your tutorial level. So let's get into it, shall we? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Okay.
Let the cards fall where they may. We begin.
Yes, we do. Okay, so we will start with the first card here.
That first moment, that glinting weapon, the call to action, to adventure. Truly, there is nothing like it.
Okay, so the way this game works is that each there's like an overworld and like the combat. The actual combat is kind of like a brawler, as we'll see a little bit later on. But as you move around, you move on to these different scenario cards, and you get to choose different actions. You have a chance to maybe, you know, find a weapon or talk to a guy, or there are actual quests built in that you have to land on things in a certain order. It's very procedurally generated in a roguelike kind of way, but the cards are, I think, a really cool mechanic for setting that up. So let's do this. I'm sorry, this video might be like subtitled like I gush a lot about this game and how good it is, because that's probably what's gonna happen. So let's enter the Twisted Canyon. You see a weapon glinting in the sunlight lying next to a skeleton at the bottom of a canyon. The walls of the canyon are covered in thick vines, perfect for climbing. Well, we're gonna climb down there and get that weapon. So you got 4 cards here, and it mixes
Choose
it up.
from these options.
There you go. And we choose from these options. I'm gonna try as much as possible also not to talk over the dealer. 1, because I love his voice, and 2, because he's really interesting as he's not the villain, I guess. Antagonist, probably be the best term. But so there's 3 success cards and 1 failure in here, and I wasn't really paying attention here, unfortunately. But you can kind of follow them a little bit. As you see, if you pay attention to this, I am dreadful at doing it, but if you follow where they are, kind of guess. I have a knack for picking the wrong card every time. You watch, it's insane. Okay, good. Didn't start off with that. So we climb down to the bottom of the canyon. You retrieve your weapon from the ancient corpse. Draw 1 weapon card. Alright, we get an axe. Does 25 damages, which can replace our rusty axe, which only does 20. So absolutely, we're gonna
A moment to savor. That will make you much more effective.
Okay, so let's take a step forward. Mr. Lionel.
I was never a fan of illusion or pretense. Here, I'll make an exception.
Whilst enjoying your evening meal at the local tavern, a strange old man takes the seat next to yours. He taps your shoulder quite painfully with his wooden staff to get your attention, and you notice that he appears to be a goblin, poorly disguised as a human. His wizened face grins at you with a hint of madness. My name is Mr. Lionel, and if you give me what you need, boy, I will conjure up your heart's desire with this wizarding wand of my own creation. Should I do, I don't know, if I feel like I should do like some sort of like, I don't know, voice acting demo reel with this. He cackles uncontrollably for a few moments and then sits patiently waiting for your answer. So we've got a couple different options here. We could give him 20 gold, but we've got our stats and supplies and stuff down here. We don't actually have 20 gold, we've only got 10. Food, we've got 18, so we could give him the bread from our plate, which would cost us 1 food amount. Or we can ask him, what do you want? Or what do you need? And he'll respond in some way, or we can just ignore him and tell him to go away. Personally, I think it's logical. He says, if you give me what I need, I'll do something for you. Well, to me, the question then is, what do you need? Need? I need to help you. Mr. Lionel taps the staff on the ground and a shield materializes at your feet. There you go, old bean. He smiles a warm grin that reveals all his chipped and yellowed teeth. Your face reminds me of my son. I haven't met you before, have I? Draw 1 shield card. Cool, so we get a free shield. Fantastic. Excellent, so this is a little tutorial thing. Shields have the ability to reflect and counter. As I said, the combat in this is very third-person brawler. If you ever played any of the Arkham Asylum games, the Batman Arkham Asylum stuff, it's basically that. That's the combat. It's efficient, effective, it works. Gets a little crazy with some of the bigger fights, but work up to it. So we'll take that and counter, so press Q to reflect attacks or counter attacks. So free shield.
You can now reflect your opponent's ranged attacks using your shield. Make good use of this skill if you wish to survive.
Absolutely. It's entirely necessary. Oh. Then, before you can stop him, with inhuman speed, he snatches a pickled onion off your plate and sprints out the tavern door. The maiden!
Fair Merith. I'm not surprised to find that this encounter remains vivid in your memories.
One day in a shady forest, you encounter an elf maiden. She stops to greet you. I am Merith of the Forest Folk. My people have long helped the mortals of this realm. What boon would you ask of me? So we can ask for any of 3 things. We can ask for a longer life, which means we should... Remember, right, we get like a bonus to our health, so you increase your maximum health capacity. You can ask for supplies, which will give us some more food, or you can ask for cash, which will give us cash. Really, this first round isn't that intense, but I'm going to take the longer life because it seems, you know, more life is good, right? As you wish, Merith mutters and waves her hand. A light shines from your skin. The dealer draws you 1 maximum health gain card. So, has to flip through the deck there, apparently. There we go, 5 max health.
A little extra health, but it is only a momentary respite.
Go. So we have a health of 105. Oh, there was the last thing. Shoot, I didn't read it. Oh well. Life goes on. So we move to the last thing.
Bound once more, seeking the heart of it all.
So after you finish an area, we're not necessarily even after you finish it, because you'll see the way that some of the things are set up here. There's always an exit, basically, to the level that you're on. And so this is the exit, and we will progress downward. You have discovered the exit to this area. We shall take the stairs. You embark upon the next leg of your adventure. Whoosh.
You're on the final floor of our simple map. Your opponent waits here for you. Find him.
So as you can
If you defeat me, well, it is early to be talking about victories and losses. Let us see what you're made of.
Okay. So, as you can see, you can kind of move differently now. I can only move here, but next turn I could move forward or to the side or whatever. And we don't know where... The boss card is apparently one of these cards, and we don't quite know which one it is. So, you know, makes for some interesting strategery at times.
I'm sure it's not called Dead Man's Gorge without reason.
Indeed. While crossing the ancient ropes of the bridges of Dead Man's Gorge, you hear the sounds of movement from below. It is an ambush. Draw 1 monster card. The Two of Dust. So we will fight 2 baddies from the Dust group. The Dust suit is bandits. So just a couple of bandits we're going to have to beat the snot out of. I like that. It just stacks all your stuff on top of you. Normally I'll skip it, but for some of the...
You can now counter your opponent's attacks. Hit the
that.
counter button when you see the flashing indicator.
Oh, okay, that's the tutorial, okay. So there's all the thing, the movement stuff and whatever, yeah. But I do like watching our protagonist here get all kitted out. Did it without taking damage, alright. But normally I will skip the guy getting kitted out just because it, you know, it adds seconds, but they're seconds. I got stuff to do. You recover what you can from the dead. The dealer draws you 3 game cards. So there we go. So we get to draw a piece of it.
I'm sure you're grateful for that.
We got a hat. Reveals stairs upon entering a level and grants a gold bonus for revealing every encounter at the level. Not useful at the moment because we're already on the bottom, and it won't show us where the boss is. So, okay, we got a hat. I don't know if it actually provides an armor bonus though. I think your armor is just your chest piece, but I might be wrong. 3 food, which we don't really need, and a bit of cash. Excuse me. What we got? A shop. In a shady grove off the beaten trail, you find a traveling merchant looking to trade with wandering adventurers. General shops offer a range of items and healing, but at prices a little higher than usual. So there's a number of different types of shops that we'll find eventually. This is just the base shop, so it can have anything, but its prices are a little high. Some of the other shops are more specialized and offer very specific things, but at a lower cost. So you will find, you know, if you're looking for armor, you will only, you know, you'll find it at a particular shop, but it will be less expensive than it is here. But let's head on in, see what we can find.
If you were wondering why you've been collecting all that gold, you now have your answer. We're starting to get into the meat of the game now. The back and forth between resources and rewards.
Okay. Excellent. I might undo the subtitles, because the thing that's getting me is they're not lining up with how he's talking. So, I might nix those. I didn't play with them on the first time I did, but, I thought it might be useful, because we got an axe, shield, sword. Healing cap would be really nice. Is there anything I can sell? I can sell this dumb hat that I'm not going to use. Let's do that. We'll get a better hat. So, yep, sell that. And pick up the healer's cap, which any healing that we receive
Increasing the effect of one sort of magic with another.
There we go.
All you need is a channel for power, and it's simple enough.
Okay. So now, if we take damage, now again, at this point, or on a map of this size, that's really kind of a moot point, but hey, you know, something we can do. Ambush!
What did you think would happen with a card called Ambush, eh?
A slight rustling behind you is all the warning you get that your life is in grave danger. Draw 1 monster card. Whoosh. 3 dust. 3 bandits, everybody. 3 banditeers. So let's go in on them. Wait. Start beating the snot out of them. Go for the old Council Rooney. Ha! Eat axe. Oh, oh no, I missed on the thing because I broke my combo. At some of the... Sure. I'm pretty sure the higher your combo is, the more damage you're doing, although that might be a higher level thing. I don't remember. Sorry. While searching the area around for anything worth scavenging, you realize that one of your opponents is only pretending to be dead. Well, we'll sneak up and kill him. So we've got a 75% chance of succeeding. pretty sure this one is safe, because I think one of the two on the left is the skull. Yeah, I was right. I followed that. A quick weapon blow of the head fixes that. You finish searching the area. You get 3 game cards. We get a piece of equipment, an axe.
A peasant's weapon,
Which we already have.
but effective nonetheless.
Sure, we'll switch out for this new better axe. 3 food, which you don't really need, and a bit of cash, which again we don't really need. Cool. So this is obviously going to be the boss. Now, interesting thing, shops are perpetually open. So if I were to cross back this way for whatever reason, I could go back to the shop and buy stuff if I wanted to. So that's an interesting thing. There are some cards that remain active on the board after you flip them. Most don't. So like if I move back onto this ambush card, it is dead. It's done. The ambush has been sprung and we move on. But there are some, they'll either stay highlighted like this, like the stairs card here, though interestingly enough, you can't go back up the stairs, or all shops are perpetually accessible. So let's hop here, and we find Jack.
You have reached my first champion. A good man, driven to madness by a war that took all from him. Wife and child, kith and kin. From such dark and brittle iron I forge my tools. Now we see your metal.
Okay. As the bandit leader is stronger and faster than most bandits encountered, he can become enraged, making powerful, unblockable attacks. He also inspires his followers to steal gold on each hit. So each of these boss cards for a given dungeon will somehow affect the entirety of the dungeon, or entirety of the level, whatever you want to call it. You got a bit of fluff text here. If you want to read it, pause and read it. I'm gonna fight a man. That's what I'm gonna do.
This token will unlock more cards if you can defeat this encounter.
So one of the cool things about this as well is down here on certain cards there'll be a little hex or shape or whatever that is. It's a hexagon. And when you defeat a card or complete a card to some satisfactory end that has one of these, you gain tokens. And at the end of either if you die or if you beat the level, those tokens unlock more cards, which give you more events and encounters and maybe better weapons and all kinds of cool stuff. It's really, really well-designed game, I think. It makes it very interesting. Also, I like his little thing here. Okay, so we were fighting him and 4 regular guys. I will say, these guys that have unblockable attacks or uncounterable attacks really do give me a hard time.
Some enemy attacks cannot be blocked or countered. Get out of the way or stop them with your own counterattack.
So when he goes red like that, his attack is going to be uncounterable. So you can dodge roll out of the way or basically take it. That's your options. Nope, get out of the way. Now you might be saying, he has an ability that allows his compatriots here to steal your gold. What good is that if he's the boss? Well, you will see in due time, my friends. Come here. Run. And smack. Run. Ah, it rolled into it. Aha. 1, 2, 3, run. 1, 2, 3, charge. Ooh, that was close. 1, 2, there we go. And we picked up his card. We've now got the Jack of Dust in our collection. That's what we look like, by the way. We're some sort of barbarian man.
Down into the worms with him. Perhaps there is peace for him in the grave, poor soul. One champion has been sent to the cabinet. Yet we are only at the start of our road. You will face 11 more opponents who will test your strength, your memories, and your resolve. Few fall at the first hurdle. None reach the last. We have wagered, and you have won. You may claim your rewards, yet I will also claim mine. As you improve, so do I. Balance must be retained.
Alright, so we will close up today's session. I know it was a little short, it's just the tutorial, but like I said, I'm going to try to make December a thing here, so we'll try to be bringing various videos up as quickly as possible here and see if we can't get through Hand of Fate by the end of the month. But let's see what new cards we've got. So, as a reward for defeating the Bandit Jack, you receive the following cards. We've got the Jack of Skulls, which will be our next boss. Dead King's Hall, which is an encounter. You see it's got these little tokens down here in the bottom, so if we satisfactorily complete the encounter, we get more cards. The Local Peasant encounter, the Devil's Choice encounter, the River encounter, and the Captain of the Guard encounter. And let's crack this one. Beat Bandit Jack, we get the following cards. These are your equipment cards. Let's see what we got. Medium Armor, pretty cool. Chains of Rage, Mercenary Contract, Medium Armor, Fortitude's Breath, and Desperate Measures. So we got Armor, Artifact, which we'll explain later, Armor, Shield, and Weapon. Julio. And let's see what else we got. We've got the Bennett Attack encounter, the Maze of Traps encounter, and the Goblin encounter. Alrighty. Whoosh.
Shall we deal again?
Well, you might be able to deal again, but for us, we're going to call it here for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you're interested in this new series. I do realize I've been gushing and so on. I'm going to do my best to A, continue, and B, to keep it engaging and interesting for everyone. Because like I said, this is a good game. This is a good game, and I think it's definitely worth taking a look at. So again, I want to reiterate, I really do feel like the game is at its strongest when you're experiencing it firsthand. But if you've A, already played it, or B, just really want to see what happens, please come with us on this journey. So likes, comments, all that kind of stuff down there on the bottom. If you feel so inclined, it helps out, especially at the start of a new series. And until next time, you have a lovely day.